Well, the to-do list on the Predator is slimming down as we're still waiting for motor parts to build that 560 motor. Hopefully this week those parts will come and we will be moving into that. There are a few things that I do want to get done that we can do in the meantime though. So while you guys were away, I went ahead and put new bearings in our front hubs. I painted these little disc guards. I took the back disc guards off because they were actually rubbing a little bit, creating a little bit of friction. I put new brake pads in here, and that's a little bit of anti-seize on there. Everything is nice and smooth. Upgraded to cotter pin or hitch pins in these front spindles. I will put a zip tie on the end here because last thing you want is for those to fly out. But you guys know me, I hate cotter pins. I always upgrade to hitch pins. So much easier to take out and put back in. If you guys remember in the last video, I scored a new set of shocks, the upgraded Fox Podium X. I got those from PSN. A subscriber reached out to me asking if I need to get them rebuilt. Their company is Smitty's Shocks. I'm going to give them a shot, and because they told me they can get it done in 2 days. So if they can get it done in 2 days, we'll be ready to rock and roll. I really want to have this thing ready for the Warrior meetup. The Warrior meetup is it's at Badlands in Indiana. Apparently this is an amazing riding spot. There's going to be tons of Yamaha Warriors there. You know, like some really nice built ones and stuff. Weston from DRW Performance is out there. He's got his Warrior that he calls Wally. Apparently he's done a ton of really crazy upgrades to it. I'm really excited to check that thing out. I think he's going to let me rip it. But I'm going to be heading out there, and I'd really like to bring this quad. So I want to make sure the suspension is ready to rock and roll. And I did send out the rear shock also. So that one is gone. The whole set is going to be done. So I do want to remove this tab here. This beautiful, well, I mean, you just gotta, let's take a moment to appreciate this. It's just beautiful. So we're gonna chop that off, make it look like it was never there. There's a little hole here. I'm not sure why that was there. There was actually a piece of duct tape covering it. So we'll weld that up, make it look like it was never there. Get rid of these stickers. They're like the manufacture dates. It looks like, what's that, April of 2006 it was made. You know, I would normally leave stuff like that, but since it's all botched up and this one has like a little bit of spray paint weld over and stuff, I'm gonna get that off of there because it looks ugly. And while I have the welder out, I'm gonna repair this rear fender support. This is the way it's supposed to look. I do have the portion that goes right here. It's attached to the plastics, so I might as well fix that. And amongst those things, we have these beautiful parts. So I'll just take you down the line here. We have a Tusk Power Sports battery. This is just a basic run-of-the-mill battery. We got our acid pack right here. We'll be filling that up. We got an AC bumper. This is a new old stock, man. I actually had to clean this thing up. It was covered in dust. This thing has probably been sitting on a shelf forever. It had the MSRP sticker on in the back and stuff. I actually peeled all that off already. That's a nice clean bumper. It's one of my favorite styles. As a kid, I really like this look, and it's going to look good on the Predator. You know, those stock bumpers kind of look junky. A nice bumper always makes things look nice. For the back, we have the DG fat bar. Again, new old stock. I left it in the bag so that you guys could check it out. You can see it up there. Item number, Predator 500, 1¼ inch Fat Series grab bar. So cool, dude. This is like the kind of stuff when I was a kid, I would go to the dealerships and stuff, and I always wanted to buy this stuff. I just could never afford it. Now I can finally have what I want, so it's freaking awesome. So then we have some ODI bars. Now this is kind of funny. They actually sent the wrong color. The ones that I ordered were silver, but I didn't want silver. I wanted this gunmetal color. They were just out of stock. I guess either somebody made a mistake or what, but I'm really happy that they did because this color looks freaking sweet. I always like gunmetal, especially the gunmetal in black. It's just really clean. I usually use Pro Taper bars. I've never tried ODI. Just wanted to give them a shot. The bend is called ATV Racer. I looked at the specs and it was similar to what I like. So we're going to try it out, see what that's like. I have my Tusk radiator cap. This has got a little temperature gauge on there. That's real easy. I can just pop it on there while we're waiting for the motor because the radiator's in there. And as you move down the line, we've got a Pro Taper Sport clutch perch. Nothing crazy here. It's got a nice little billet adjuster. They have a nice feel. It's just a nice little upgrade. It's going to get rid of the little wires, and I'm going to override the the whole thing where you got to hold the clutch to start the motor and stuff. It's just a nice. I like good, decent controls. These are cheap and inexpensive. Most of these parts you can get on RockyMountainATV.com. I will have the links in the descriptions for all of these parts. If it's a part that's not available, I'm sorry, guys, because some of the stuff like the new old stock AC bumper, not sure that you can get another one of those. If I find it, I will put a link in the description. Then we're moving on to some Torque One racing grips. Again, another new product. I have not tried these. They come with their own grip glue, which is nice. I kind of just thought blue might look cool. I don't know, like the blue with the gunmetal. I just don't know. We'll see what it looks like. I think it'll look cool. We have the used Honda thumb throttle. This is going to work really nice. I think Honda makes the best thumb throttles. Nice, heavy metal, you know, not the plastic junk one. Just look at the difference here, like the clunkiness of the Polaris one, and it's so light. Weighs almost nothing. This one's nice and heavy. This is all plastic, all metal. I'm sorry, Polaris. I just can't back you on this one, man. You guys really, you got to step up the game with the thumb throttles, man. Hopefully your Sportsmans nowadays come with nicer thumb throttles. So this is the used Honda one that's going to go on there. There is a wire that plugs in here from Polaris. One of my subscribers reached out and told me that all that needs to be done is that just needs to be unplugged, and we'll be good to go. So this should work just fine. And then the last thing I have here is the billet carrier. If you watched the last video, we took care of this thing. I did not pack the bearings correctly with grease, and you guys called me out for it. So that's the first thing that we're gonna do in this video. We're gonna pack those tapered bearings the correct way so that you guys see the right way to do it. And that should make these things last a lot longer. I wanna give you guys a huge thank you for reaching out. And somebody sent me a video showing exactly how to do it. I've actually never really dealt with tapered bearings before, and I didn't know how. I've also noticed that recently a lot of people have been asking me how I know what I know and how I've learned all these things, and that is one of the major ways that I learn. You know, I do stuff, most of the stuff I can figure out, and I'm a pretty knowledgeable person in general with mechanical things and fixing things. But like in an instance like that, a lot of you guys will reach out and tell me like, hey dude, there's a better way to do it, or you're doing it the wrong way, this is the right way. Now I know how to do it. So I'm gonna show you guys, hopefully I can help relay that knowledge. But that's how I've learned a lot of things. My pop taught me a lot of things growing up, you know, building lawnmowers and just stupid little stuff like that, fixing things around the house. That's where I learned most of my knowledge. And then I started buying motor scooters, quads, and dirt bikes, and I would just figure out how to fix them on my own. I would get my hands on service manuals, read the service manuals, go on online forums getting help, and YouTube videos. When I was a little bit younger, there weren't quite as many YouTube videos out there, but that's definitely a great resource. And now I've gotten into reading like technical books and stuff on two-stroke, and I want to get a four-stroke performance book, and then like learning from guys like Dave Moore. And when I go out to events and shows like that, there's just tons of knowledge that comes to me. That's really the greatest way to learn, I think, is through experience and stuff. So anyways, long story short, that's how I know all the things I know. All right, now we're not actually going to be installing this in this video. I just want to have this prepared so it's ready to go when the axle and everything is going in. Luckily, these seals were not super tight, so the seal will be just fine. So last time I just kind of like put grease around the outside of the bearing, and then as you can see, I put a whole bunch of grease on top of it underneath the seal, so the seal would keep all the grease in there. And then there's a grease zerk on the back that I would pack it from the back, but there's a much more effective way to pack these bearings. All right, so we've got our bearing grease here, and I got a glove on because this is going to be messy. I'm just going to get a whole bunch of grease out on my palm there. Now we'll take our bearing here. You can see I've got two different colors of grease on there, but it's not packed. You can see inside there's plenty of spots where there's no grease. So we're going to take this bearing and essentially just kind of massage the grease inside, doing the same thing until it's packed with grease. Oh, there you can see it actually popping through. And this will give the bearings much more longevity. All right, so now this carrier is ready to go in. I did both sides. I really should have filmed the second side because it was a lot easier. I kind of struggled with that first one there, but you guys get the idea. I did wipe out some of there was so much grease in the center. I just kind of cleaned it out for the axle to get through, but these things are super greased, man. I can set this aside for when it needs to be installed. All right, guys, let's hop right into it and get rid of this ugly ass tab, fill this hole, and fix this fender support. I'd actually rather use a cutoff wheel here, but I'm out of blades, so I'm gonna use a Sawzall. Should still get the job done. You know, this bracket really didn't turn out too bad. So the paint's dry in there. Frame is all done. If I spent a little bit more time, probably could have made that perfect. But you got to remember, guys, this is not a show quad. This side you can't really see. I gave the whole front portion of the frame here a light spray because that paint that I'm using, it's a matte black, and the OEM color is more of a flat black. You can see up there. Now this is still a little bit wet, so that should flatten out a little bit. Like if you look at up top where our gussets are, that's that same color paint, so it should look like that when it's dry. All right, we can get our controls on here. Start with the handlebars. Definitely not the biggest fan of this through bolt design that Polaris has. Now this instrument cluster could get a little tricky, but I think we'll make it work. Slide our controls in place. I'm just gonna snug this. Put our new grips on. These are new bars, but I still like to wipe them down with lacquer thinner. Just make sure there's nothing on them that's gonna prevent the grips from sticking. And I'm gonna scuff up this side because it's got a smooth finish in case you're using a twist throttle. What the f? Shit sucks. This is definitely... Are you f***ing me, man? Yeah, this is the super glue. Son of a bitch. Super glue type of grip glue. Probably not my favorite. So I don't know if I'd recommend using this grip glue that comes with these grips. These controls actually turned out pretty good. The instrument cluster isn't as congested as I thought it would be. It's easy enough to get to the key. Can see all of our indicator lights. Well, we're not going to be utilizing the choke, so I may end up sawing this portion out or putting something on here to fill that because it looks kind of weird. Grips look good. They feel good. I wasn't a fan of the grip glue. Probably would use a different grip glue, but I do like the grips. Definitely looking good. I'm going to put some wires on here too once these dry. The Honda thumb throttle on there, that looks way better than before. Definitely looking pretty clean. All right, now before we put on our bumper and our grab bar, I want to go ahead and put the battery in place. So we have our Tusk battery right here. Putting the acid in is really easy, but if you've never done it before, I guess it could be kind of daunting. So you have your acid pack here. There's a red strip right here. Go ahead and pull that strip off. You can see that's where your acid dumps into. So you have a plastic strip on top. Pull this off. You want to save this because these are your plugs that will be filling these vacancies up here. And then the aluminum on here, you don't have to pull that off or anything. When you put it over the battery, it will puncture it. So we're just going to press this down and let it drain. You want to make sure all of the acid is completely in the battery before you pull off this plastic. All right, looks like all of our acid has drained. I'm gonna try to not get this on your hands. Now, if you hear bubbling and sizzling, the battery is about to explode. Now, I'm just kidding. They just make those sounds. That's normal. And for now, I'm just gonna leave this in place so it's ready to go. And we've got our Tusk radiator cap with our temperature on it. Link for this will be in the description below. Definitely a nifty little thing to have. Keep an eye on your temperatures. Ooh, man, this is gonna look nice. And I guess we'll have to take off this grab bar. I mean, I really like this grab bar, but you know, you guys don't like it, so I guess I have to take it off. Oh man, so we're actually starting to look pretty good here. The controls look really good. The steering stem is nice and straight and tight. Everything is coming together. Like I said, you know, there's nothing like having good handlebars and controls and everything. I just think that makes a machine feel so much more premium. And when you're riding, it just feels that much better. We got the nice bumper on there. Love that AC bumper. Got rid of our spoiler, man. But this is a sweet ass grab bar that we have on there. So it's coming together, man. We are gonna be waiting for the motor parts. I did get some crank bearings that ended up not fitting. So I've just ordered another set that I think will fit. Let's hope so. Otherwise, we will be using the crank bearings that came out. And we have our parts from BP Racing coming in hopefully this week. So we'll be getting this thing together pretty soon. I also picked up a couple cruisers, some old school Sportsters. One is an 86, the other one's an 89. So I plan to build a little bobber project. I wasn't even gonna put it on the channel, but I put up a post on Instagram and some people seemed interested. So I'll show you the bikes right here. It's an 86 Sportster 1100, not in bad shape. I really didn't even want this bike. You can see the mirrors and stuff are turned around. Really what I wanted was this one in here. This is an 89 Sportster with a 1200 in it, and it's pretty rough. You can see she needs some love, but I think I can make a pretty cool little bobber out of it. So that's just gonna kind of be something that I do in the spare time that I don't really have, probably off camera, but I'll probably show it to you when it's all done. Pretty cool little project though. This one apparently runs. It just needs a little bit of carb work. So I'll probably get this one going, clean it up a little bit, take the saddlebags off, take the sissy bar off, paint the front fender black and some other odds and ends, and then sell that one right away and build the other one, which will hopefully pay for the other one inside. Those are gonna be something that I kind of do like outside of the channel. So until the next one, guys, remember to give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying this content. Also remember to hit that subscribe button. Definitely hit that notification bell. That helps me out big time. And leave me a comment in the comment section below. What do you guys think of these selection of parts that I'm putting on this thing? You like these grips? You like this Honda thumb throttle and stuff? You think that's gonna be better than the Polaris throttle? Let me know in the comments below if you think you would use that Polaris one also, whatever. So let me know, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.